If you're watching this, you probably care about history not just for the stories, but for the lessons we can carry forward into real life. I want you to stick around, subscribe, and share this video, because what we're about to explore could literally change the way you think about community, survival, and human behavior under extreme pressure. Today, we're diving deep into the unspoken rules of wartime sharing, a topic that rarely makes the history books but has shaped countless survival stories. Knowing these rules can give you an edge, whether you're a historian, a prepper, or someone simply trying to understand human nature in crisis. When war or crisis strikes, resources vanish almost overnight. Food, fuel, and basic medical supplies suddenly become precious commodities. How societies and small communities respond to scarcity can make the difference between life and death. And here's the thing. Sharing isn't just about generosity. It's about strategy, trust, and survival instincts that have been honed through centuries of conflict. Let's unpack how these unspoken rules worked historically and how you can understand them today. Sharing begins with trust and reciprocity, not blind generosity. During wartime, you quickly learn that giving something away without understanding the dynamics around you is dangerous. Historical accounts from the Second World War, especially from occupied territories in Europe, show that neighbours would only share with those they trusted implicitly. Trust was earned through consistent reliability. Someone who helped out during the first ration shortage could expect help later in return. Practically, if you're thinking about applying this in a prepper or survival context, it means you build a small circle first. Start with family, close friends, or neighbours you've known for years. Share essential items like water purification tablets, emergency food packs, or fuel sparingly, and always make it clear there is a mutual understanding. In modern terms, this is community barter networks, but historically it was about personal reputation. If you hoarded, word travelled fast, and you would be cut off from the very help you might need. You know, a fascinating observation from wartime diaries and studies of refugee camps is that those who rationed and distributed resources equitably survived longer as a group. Unequal sharing, on the other hand, breeds resentment and really undermines group cohesion, which can be fatal when every mouth counts. One practical step you can take today is to track supplies meticulously. Even in a small prepper group, knowing exactly how much food, medicine or fuel is available and dividing it fairly prevents conflict. You might, for instance, establish informal rules. For example, everyone contributes what they can, everyone takes only what they need, and special care is given to the sick and elderly. This kind of approach actually mirrors wartime practices where ration books and communal kitchens ensured fairness. Wartime sharing comes with an unspoken requirement: discretion. During the Nazi occupation of France, families hid extra rations or helped persecuted neighbours, but they rarely announced it. Noise could bring raids, theft or betrayal. Sharing was done quietly, often at night, and with trusted intermediaries. In practical terms, modern preppers can take this lesson seriously. If you're sharing supplies or medical resources, keep it low profile. Limit social media posts, avoid broadcasting your stockpile, and develop discreet signals within your community for when aid is needed. Protecting the flow of resources often matters as much as the resources themselves. History is full of examples where sharing was tactical. In wartime London, households that shared with neighbours often received protection, warnings of air raids, or access to scarce goods in return. In other words, sharing was a form of investment, a way to build a network of mutual support that enhanced survival chances. You can apply this principle today by thinking about skills as well as supplies. Offering to help a neighbour with water filtration setup or teaching them how to garden efficiently during shortages can create bonds that last through crises. This is not charity. It's strategic resilience. Finally, here's the hard truth. You just can't help everyone. Diaries from the Siege of Leningrad and, other periods of extreme wartime shortages really remind us that indiscriminate sharing can actually lead to ruin. The unspoken rule, honestly, is that you protect your immediate survival first and then help those who either strengthen the group or whom you trust deeply. A practical way to approach this today is to define your primary circle of protection and aid. Decide who you absolutely must support, maybe family, close friends, or critical community members, and allocate surplus resources cautiously beyond that. Knowing when to say no and doing it without guilt is a skill that wartime survivors really mastered. The unspoken rules of wartime sharing aren't really moralistic, they're just practical. Trust, reciprocity, discretion, equitable distribution, strategic generosity, and self-preservation were the invisible guidelines that allowed ordinary people to survive extraordinary circumstances. For us, honestly, studying these rules isn't just academic, it's a blueprint for resilience. If you found value in this guide, make sure to subscribe to The Prepper Historian and share this video with others who care about history and survival. The lessons of the past are alive, and understanding them gives you the insight to thrive, not just survive, in uncertain times.